Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I am your host, Tom Grossi, and God, why am I making this video? I shouldn't have to make this video, but yet, here we are. Big news coming out today and in the past few days, but the big news coming out today that reportedly, which I don't really even believe in that case, Antonio Brown has requested a trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, there's also been other reports that are out there saying that apparently he was just really pissed off and venting in anger, that he didn't really want to trade, but let's just go with the assumption that media has run with and fans have run with of, oh my God, Antonio Brown is going to be a free agent. I want him on my team. And I would think that people wouldn't be like, oh, he's going to go to the Packers. But my inbox and the comment section on the Pat Fitzgerald video that I just put out says otherwise. So, let's talk about this, kiddos, why Antonio Brown is not coming to the Green Bay Packers. And listen, who knows? Goot might decide to be like, let's trade away, a first-round pick or 2 first-round picks, and then I'll really cry and have no idea what's going on in this organization. But there's a couple main reasons why Antonio Brown either 1 isn't going to get traded or 2 isn't going to end up with the Green Bay Packers. So let's actually just back it all up a little bit and actually tackle the first point, why Antonio Brown wouldn't get traded by the Steelers. Let's jump into that. So Antonio Brown, one of, if not the best wide receiver in the NFL today. Hands down, you will never see me argue about that. The guy is phenomenal. He is a complete difference maker. He is an all-star. No questions asked. That's the entirety of that statement. Now, back in 2017, Antonio Brown signed a 4-year, $68 million extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh, they wanted to get a little bit more salary cap, wanted to get a little bit more creative, so in 2018, they restructured his deal. And so just to give you an idea of what this man is going to get paid for the next 3 years. The 2019 season, he is getting paid $22,165,000. That's right, dos million. In 2020, it goes down to a cool $18.3 million, and in 2019, $19.5 million. So let's just say for the hottest of seconds that he does decide to go and test the free agent waters. The guy is going to make over $20 million. We cannot afford to pay a receiver $20 million. Full stop. But we'll get there momentarily. Now, the reason why he's most likely not going to leave the Steelers, even though he had the altercation with Ben and the whole 9 yards, is because this year alone, $21.1 million of that $22.1 million is in dead money. Meaning, if he gets traded to any other team, the Steelers are going to eat that money the way that they restructured the deal. So whether they have him on the field or they don't, they are still out $21 million this season. So there is zero incentive for them to trade away Antonio Brown. For draft picks, what have you, that's a crap ton of money for them to wind up swallowing. So that's reason number 1, which I just don't think he's going to leave. But hey, I was wrong about Khalil Mack. I thought the Raiders wouldn't trade him because that would have been smart. But let's just keep going with it and say maybe it happens, right? Maybe they're just like, F my life, right? Just F me up, fam. Let's just do it. Let's talk about the locker room kind of problems that Antonio Brown has had. 1, he's been a locker room distraction. He came out with a video a couple years ago recording Mike Tomlin during a speech who was like cursing about the Patriots, and he got reprimanded for that. Apparently, it's a rule in the NFL that until like 90 minutes after the game that players aren't supposed to post to their social media or something like that. Stupid ass rule. I don't really care about that. But on top of that, he's had problems 3 times this year when he reportedly went AWOL. And in addition, this most recent problem where they were cleaning out lockers and he threw a ball at Ben at his feet and he walked out on practice and then he showed up to the game expecting to play and he got benched and the whole 9 yards. When it comes to him being in the locker room, it doesn't seem like he's the best guy to get along with. Now, I don't know Antonio Brown. I don't. But Not a great sign. Not a great sign. But let's just say we're going to ignore those first two things, which is logic, but let's say we ignore them. Let's take a look at the Green Bay Packers financial situation and why we cannot afford, literally, to get Antonio Brown. Now, let's talk about our salary cap. I know, sexy stuff. First of all, we already have one receiver making over $10 million, and that is Davante Adams, who deserves every bit of that money. Right now, we are spending $97.5 million on our offense and $51.3 million on our defense. In 2018, Randall Cobb made $12 million, Clay Matthews made $11 million, and I just had to throw this in here. Nick Perry made $10.75 million. That's a great move. Thanks, Ted Thompson. But Cobb and Clay most likely are not going to be on the team next year, so let's just kind of go away with that, or maybe they'll be restructured. In 2019, it looks like the cap is obviously going to go up, but it looks like the Packers are going to have around $44 million in cap to play with. The reason why that's not the highest number compared to someone like the Jets who have $100 million in cap space, Rodgers is making $26.5 million in 2019, which is 13.6% of the cap. Nick Perry, because of course he's getting a bump, is getting $14.7 million, and hell, Jimmy Graham is getting $12.6 million next season. So we might be like, Tom, why don't we just cut Nick Perry? Because then we're going to have to eat his money. We're going to have to keep him for at least another year, and then we could potentially let him go. Or we just wind up with just dead money, and it's a difference of like $3 million, so it's most likely not going to be worth it. Now, Aaron Rodgers, while the cap does go up every single year, for the next 3 years, his contract does not get any nicer for the Green Bay Packers. In 2020, that number is going from $26.5 million to $32.6 million. In 2021, it's going up to $33.5 million. And then in 2022, going up to $37 million. Then it drops back down to around $25 million. But that being said, while this is basically going to just kind of rise with the salary cap, which is not that big of a deal, he's going to eat up around 13 to 15% of the salary. If you just look at 2019, the fact that we only have $44 million to play with, and Antonio Brown is making $22 million. Let's just say that we get a bargain on him and only have to pay him $20 million. That means that we have $24 million to get offensive line depth, probably a new tight end, because why not? A pass rusher, a safety, God, who even knows what else we know? Linebackers. We need everything. But that being said, you want to blow half of what the salary cap that we have left on one player. Would he make the team better? Most definitely. 100%. He's an all-star player, as we already said before. That's not the issue here. The issue here is everybody who's asking me, hey, what about Landon Collins? What about Clowney? What about all these other free agents? You can't sign them if you don't have any money. So to go out and spend all of this money on Antonio Brown, who has locker room problems, who is going to make 2 times as much as our highest paid receiver next year, is just unrealistic. So while that sounds really, really good for Madden, and, go and rip off the computer and get a few first-round draft picks and trade them for Antonio Brown, and you go wreck him. You go be a superstar. It's not going to happen because the Packers literally cannot afford to have Antonio Brown on the team. It sounds really, really nice, and you think it'll be like a Bears situation, or you just need that one player. I'm sorry, the Packers need more than just one player. And I don't even know if it's on the offensive side of the ball. You have Davante Adams, who's balling out these past 2 seasons and is proving that he is worth every single penny that we are paying him. We need to look at the defense. We also need to look at the offense. Antonio Brown is not the answer, though. And plus, you look at guys like Aaron Jones, right? He's still in his rookie contract. Kenny Clark is still in his rookie contract, right? All of these up-and-coming guys are all still in their rookie contracts. And if we want to sign them and make sure that they continue their careers with the Green Bay Packers, you can't sign a guy like Antonio Brown who's going to be demanding $20 million. It's just not feasible. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com, TomGrossi Comedy, or Tom Grossi Comedy on the Twitter, Patreon, Instagram, all that great, wonderful social media stuff. Check out Patcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, and of course here on YouTube. We'll be streaming some playoff games, one on Saturday and one on Sunday, and we do episodes multiple times per week, and apparently 2 today. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi, and as always, Go Pack Go.